Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible? Okay. So before we begin our discussion, I just want Miss Bion to please lead the prayer. Thank you, Miss Buhian. So last meeting, we talked about the miso system. Who can give an example of that? Yes? Oh, Mr. Rigi rather. Exactly. The meso system connects two direct environments like school and home. Today, we'll explore something a little more hidden. But before that, let's have some warm up and quick activity called Community Web Game. Can anyone please read the instructions? Miss Horban. Okay, thank you, Miss Horban. So now I'll hold a yarn, and every time I mention a rule like parent, teacher, mayor, or boss, connect the yarn to someone affected by that rule. Understand? Alright. See this? Just like in life, even people we don't met, like a parent's boss or mayor, we can influence or they can influence how we live. And that was what system is all about. So now I'm gonna discuss about the ecosystem of Urie Bronfenbrenner's ecological systems theory. Theory. Okay, sorry guys. Can anyone please read the learning objectives? Oh, every one of you, please kindly please read the learning objectives. Thank you. And now, okay, now let's proceed to activity number 1. It's called ripple effects. And look at the images. What can you see about the images? Yeah, so it talks about the suspension of classes. And some of these people may not directly interact with a child, right? But could they still affect the child's life? Yeah, so okay, the child may not be involved in local government decisions, especially in the suspension of classes. But somehow it would affect child's life, especially their academics, right? Because if there were suspension of class, especially us, diba, we've experienced suspension of classes and we have a spare time to do the stuff we likes, and somehow we even decline those academics or some pending activities we supposed to do. Okay, and oh, are you familiar with these pictures? Yes, it's all about our parents working overnight. Does any one of you experience uh, it's either your mother or your father working overnight? Yeah, and that's pretty sad, experiencing such a thing like that might lead us independently, because somehow if our parents were not around or were not at home, then we're gonna be the one who's gonna do the stuff in home, doing the household chores, and that was the ripple effect of the exhaust system. And now let's review Urie Bronfenbrenner's ecological systems theory. Uh, do you have you remembered this diagram, or just say this type of ano? So uh, this blue one symbolizes the child, right? Yeah. How about the innermost of Urie Bronfenbrenner's ecological systems theory? What does this tells, or what does this describe of? It's about microsystem. How about this one? This symbolizes the mesosystem and the exosystem and so on. And now let's proceed to the exosystem. So the exosystem involves social settings that a person does not directly experience but still influence development. So the ecosystem is made up of settings we're not directly part of, but still they shape us. They shape us, no? So for example, a parent's workplace. Even though we are not directly interacting with the workplace of our parents, it's either be our parents' colleagues or our parents' boss, we get affected by it because every time our parents have conflict with his or her boss or with his or her colleagues, then we're gonna be affected by his or her behavior at home. And for example, is the local government's decisions, right? Somehow they have made such decisions. It's either be in school that, or it's either be a suspect. For example, the suspension of classes that would ignore some discussions that we've missed somehow, and it's either be in policies, it's either in community policies. It would directly influence us even though we are not in such place. Or medias, somehow we are also affected by medias or in school board decisions, right? So even if you never visit these places or meet these people, they can still shape your thoughts, emotions, and behavior, right? Do you agree with me, guys? Okay. So now, let's go on activity number 2, entitled Invisible Influence. So this is a group activity, and you're gonna form yourselves into just, instead of 3 groups. Okay, let's just form this into 3 groups na lang, okay? So each group gives a scenario card. You can either choose this one, a parent loses a job, or it's either be the new policy changes, school hours, or etc. And you should discuss how it affects your life indirectly. And after that, you're gonna share some insights after the discussion. Okay? So, are you done? Okay, let's move to activity number 3, the Exo Detective. And now, it's your turn to be detectives. On a whole sheet of paper, you're gonna just list 3 ecosystem examples from your life. Just, just think or what or who in your environment affects you indirectly. For example, is your mother's boss allows overtime and I see her less often, so I become more independent. Diba? So, or you're gonna just have some other examples besides that. Okay, are you done? Okay, so now let's proceed to activity number 4. The ecosystem connection check. This is just like a quiz, but this is some sort of activity. Can anyone please read the instruction, Miss Elise? Yeah, so the lucky winner for today is Miss Elise. Okay, and you're gonna write the answers on what again? 1/4 sheet of paper. Alright, are you done? Okay. And now, here's our short quiz. The most awaited time. I know you're so excited to answer these quizzes. So I'm gonna just instead read these instructions. Read the statement and write the letter and words of the correct answer. Carefully just analyze what does the instructions all about so that you're gonna answer the right answer, of course. Okay, are you done? All right. And next, it's a test, a quiz too. It's a true or false. Write if the statement is correct and if false. Okay, are you done? Okay, let's move. Oh, here's your assignment. And you're gonna pass this one next meeting, right? Okay, nice. Did you all copy what does our discussion all about? Okay, nice. Okay, and that would be all for today's discussion. I hope you had some learnings in my discussions, and let's just see you around. Okay. Okay, please lead the closing prayer, Mr. Bensi. Okay, thank you so much for your cooperations, guys. And that would be all. Thank you again. Bye bye.